Um, Good morning. I think. Are we live? Let me just see.
I, oh,
Good morning, Mel.
good morning, Nikki.
We are attempting to go live on YouTube Monday morning minutes. Um, it says I'm live in the studio, but let's see. I am live. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday morning minutes with Nikki Lin and Mel. I appreciate anyone who is joining us. We're not going to be here for a long time, but we intend to have at least a good time. So grab your coffee, juice, or tea and settle in with us as we discuss a few things that happened over the weekend, the past week, current events, um, any breaking news, and just some recent updates. You ready, Mel?
I'm ready.
Okay, thank you for joining me. Anyone who wish to drop down in the chat, please do so. Anyone catching us on the replay, thank you. So, the first news I wanted to cover, Rihanna. Oh my gosh, did you see someone shot her house up last night?
Yeah, that was. I don't know. That's pretty awful, especially since I heard recently that she's pregnant again.
Is she pregnant?
That's the word on the curb. But of
How
course, it's
old?
that I
Go
haven't
ahead.
been able to fact check it, so I'll just say it's a word on the curb.
How old is the new baby?
Mm, the baby girl. I'm not sure.
So she has three kids, right? She has Riza, Riot, and a little girl name I think is Rocky. She can't be more than like 6 months, right?
Again, I haven't been able to really fact check it. I just threw it out, but I haven't been able to fact check it. But that
Right.
was, I guess, some information that was spreading around. But wow. So, do you know which house it was? Was it at her house
Um,
in Barbados or?
no, in Miami, I think. Miami. Let me just check that. But I know this morning they did catch the young lady. Let me see. Her California home was
And it was
fired.
a female?
It was a female. Her house was fired at 10 times, they said. 10 times. And the lady was across the street from her house. So they did catch the lady this morning. A woman in her 30s was arrested, it says. A woman in her 30s was
Oh,
arrested.
wow.
So at
Well,
her
that's
property in Los Angeles, California. The suspect's car was a Tesla. She was described as having braids and wearing a cream colored blouse. So I wonder what that was about. I don't know.
I don't know. It will be interesting to see how that story unfolds.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So not sure what was going on there. No, so that's what we have recently happened last night. Rihanna's house was shot up.
But just, really, just going in the mind of, a lot of the women these days that to me is a lot of acting out of character. And I just feel like it's time for us to reclaim our throne and act like the queens that we are. You know, especially when I was kind of following up on the recent Senate loss of Jasmine Crockett. And it was interesting to me, Nikki Lynn, to see the amount of African American men and some women that really spoke about that and how um, they could understand how she lost, why she lost. And a lot of them were Texas voters as well. And they were citing that they really didn't like the way she represented Black women, the ghetto talking and the way she would be acting,
Mhm.
I guess in Congress and the things that she would say and the whole ghetto mentality where they felt like she was kind of mocking Black women or how she
Really?
thought Black women should act. And the women were saying, even myself, I don't act like that. But just to hear the men speak out about her behavior and that it did not represent the Black women that they knew.
Really? Okay. So I don't follow Texas politics much really at all. But I just was brushing up on it and it appeared that they said, she ran a good campaign, but she entered the race late and I guess she didn't realize the young man she was running up against was very, you know, um well versed as well in Texas and I don't think she thought that well, I guess she thought her celebrity um status and not celebrity like she's a star, but that she was just very popular and she was going to do well regardless, and I
Mm,
guess that failed her. They also said she didn't have a campaign manager. Was that the case? I don't know.
yes. Yeah, they said that as well. So I
Okay.
think this goes to show that sometimes um, you can't always depend on the people that you are expected to vote for you
Mm-hmm.
because they have a different view of you.
Mm-hmm.
And, just the amount of African American men that really spoke on that and how they feel like she's very distasteful in representation because she doesn't have any decorum. And no matter what party you're affiliated with, you should never, publicly disrespect.
Oh, you froze up a little bit there, Mel.
They don't want her to have that to be the representation of how African American women behave.
Yeah. Yeah. Understood. Understood. Wow. Okay. So, switching topics a little bit. Um, I think I was recently talking to you about the Breakfast Club. I followed them on YouTube, and they recently, I don't know how recent it was, but they made a deal with Netflix, and now Netflix is barring them from sharing any of their material on YouTube. And YouTube was such a big platform for them, and so they're losing a lot of their fan base. Their fan base is really upset about that because Netflix kind of, their setup is different from YouTube. YouTube, you can pop in, you can watch whenever you want. And although Netflix has a great, array of material, we kind of go to it to watch movies and miniseries, but not necessarily the way people watch the Breakfast Club. So, yeah, a lot of people are upset about that, me included.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that your version of that because I'm still trying to figure out what really happened.
Okay.
Because I think I guess someone else said that, and I can't fact check it, but that actually was it Apple or iHeartRadio sold their podcast to Netflix, and then Netflix fired all of them. I don't know how true that is to be because normally I usually, when I'm scrolling another platform, that's where I always run into their content at. That's where I see them live at. So I can't verify that to be true. It would be interesting because, mm, again, while we're here, when right now media is pretty much dominating any space, and
Oh,
most
yeah.
of the um, even your national news stations, they're all on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that would be also interesting to see really what happened with that story as well. You know,
Yeah.
are they still on the air? Are they canceled, fired, or like what is really happening?
I think they're still doing content. It's just that Netflix is barring them from sharing it on YouTube. So,
Oh, okay. So they
yeah,
can't. So if they have a deal with Netflix, then they can't share their content on YouTube. You would actually have to go to Netflix.
you have to go to Netflix to
So that's a
watch it.
paid. So that's a paid membership, and it could also mean that they're making more money from
Yeah, but it's
Netflix, so they
probably
have
going
the
to,
right.
I'm sorry, yeah, it's probably going to prevent a lot of viewers from going over there. Like you said, it's a paid membership on Netflix where YouTube is free. YouTube is free. I mean, you may have to put up with some ads here and there, but YouTube is absolutely free. And, again, like you said, it's a paid membership on Netflix. So they're probably going to lose a lot of viewers.
Well, yeah, that could be true, but you know, there are a lot of people that have Netflix subscriptions because they watch the movies, or there are
Yeah.
series that they watch. So they would still, it wouldn't be like I don't think it'd be like an extra fee for them, you know?
No, but then the way the Breakfast Club works, they tend to, cut up their material. They can tend to splice it up into segments so you can
Oh,
watch.
yeah.
If they do a live show that's an hour, 2 hours long, they're gonna splice it up into different segments, and you can pick out the segment. So then it increases,
Their
how many
viewership.
views exactly. And I don't know if people gonna keep going to Netflix to do that, but you know just something interesting. Everybody's kind of talking about it.
Yeah, I did hear a little about that. And yeah, again, when you go for the higher dollars and then you have someone as large as Netflix that you're contracted to their platform, you have to play by their rules.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because you have to think if they continue to share that content on YouTube, which is free, right? Then Netflix will lose viewership
Yeah.
and money. I think that's a good way to kind of figure that out.
Well, this is a true crime channel. We can't get away from talking about true crime. Got any crime stories?
Um, I don't really have any probably new crime stories, but I did see the latest update on the Romeca Weeks case,
Mm,
which they had a court date on March 3rd. And again,
okay.
the on March 3rd is just basically about, emotions, I guess, and
Give us a little background on
evidence.
Romeca Weeks case, Mel, for
I
those of
think
us who may be a little unfamiliar.
Romeca Weeks was the young lady that was shot and um, by her ex-boyfriend's, I guess, current girlfriend,
Okay.
um, um, while dropping her son off to school.
Hmm.
And um, the the perpetrator had like a concealed license to carry, and of course, the first claim of it was self-defense. But based off Illinois law, there are stipulations behind the self-defense plea. So there were things that had to be done for it to be that way. And so that's pretty much like the backdrop of that story. But in her in the recent court appearance that that she had, it was said that she appears to be very thin and she doesn't look well. And then you know that when she was arrested, it was said that she was um, pregnant, but the latest news that I heard is that she didn't appear to be pregnant anymore. So, but I can't fact check that. And
And
also
what's
that was
her name? What's her name? Who are you talking about?
um Johnson.
Okay.
I think that was her last name. Yes. So what
Holly.
was also
Holly,
what
they're
yeah,
called.
yeah, Holly Johnson. What was also interesting about that is that they said that Miss Johnson's aunt also appeared in court and had her to sign off all of her rights, all of her trademarks, and
Hmm.
to sign them over to the aunt. So I guess the aunt is the one that's striking social media pages for anyone that
Okay.
reports on her.
I wonder if she's trying to broker any deals, because
That
if you go ahead.
that could happen,
Hmm.
which in a sense could be a good thing
Okay.
if you're looking at maybe it's possible that she um, is found guilty and is incarcerated for a long time. You know, those monies could help support her while she's incarcerated.
Mm,
Can also help take care of her child.
yeah. So I'm gonna have to look into that. So you heard she's possibly no longer pregnant.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
But again, they, I don't know. They also stated that it appears that the boyfriend has moved on to somebody else.
What? All right.
Well,
All right.
I always look
I
at
mean,
this
it's
more.
not funny, but my goodness, imagine all this behind, and I'm going to say behind a man because obviously to me she wouldn't even have been at the scene in the car with him. You know, that was her man at the time, and now she's incarcerated. Obviously, it was her actions that led to this, but and he's already moved on.
I always felt like this. I don't know them. I don't know this to be true. It's just my opinion. I almost felt like this was his way of killing two birds with one stone.
Oh, oh wow!
That's
Imagine.
I know that's not a good thing to say, but that's just how I feel about the whole situation, which is sad. These two young, beautiful, beautiful girls, both of them,
Mm-hmm.
caught up with this clown. Even though neither one of them had ever met each other, but this is where we are.
Mm. Yeah, that's funny that you say that because that leads me to another case we're going to discuss. But before we go there, absolutely, because you hit on a point. They had never met each other, and that was a key point that stuck out to me. Holly was filing protective orders against Romeca, and she had never met her. So that was interesting to me. You never met her, but you were able to file protective orders against her. So that was interesting. Oh wow, looks like we lost Mel. Maybe she'll be able to hit back on the stream. But anyway, I'll just continue. Yeah, that was interesting, guys, that Holly had never met Romeca, but yet she was able to file protective orders. And I don't know how that works because typically you see in courtroom situations I've seen where judges don't even allow a protective order and you know the person. So they had never met. That was really interesting. I'll continue. Maybe Mel will be able to join back on the stream shortly. But yeah, we were also talking about the LaTosha Daniels case, and this is kind of old, but Mel just made me think of it. Um, when she said killing two birds with one stone, and the thing was, in that situation, we discussed that the pastor that LaTosha Daniels was involved in. And so this case is kind of old, but she just got sentenced. She just got sentenced to 20 years. And in that case, she went to the pastor's home, and the pastor, she said the pastor promised her that they could be in a relationship, her, him. and the wife. The wife says she never knew of LaTosha. The situation that made me think of this is when Mel said killing two birds with one stone. And the thing that stuck in my mind was when the pastor wanted her to leave and he asked his wife to escort her out to the car, which in turn obviously allowed her to pow pow the wife. And although she pow powed him as well, she unalived him. So, let's see, Mel is back. So, thank you, Mel, for bringing us back. I'm
I'm at that, but
talking
my
about the LaTosha Daniels case. It's okay. I'm talking about the LaTosha Daniels case because you had me, you reminded me of the killing the two birds with one stone, and I was just reminding them how the wife. He asked the wife to walk LaTosha Daniels outside, and that just reminded me that I believe the pastor, I could be wrong, it's my opinion, that he knew LaTosha Daniels intended to do something. And I think how fair and how unfortunate that he put his wife in such a horrible situation where he allowed his wife to walk this lady outside, knowing that this lady probably intended to do something. And he did. Thankfully, his wife did not lose her life, even though he lost his life. But I think again, he intended.
I think it backfired.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, I think it backfired on him. I think he expected the wife to walk her out and her to shoot the wife.
Hmm. Which she did, but the wife lived. But right.
But she turned around and took him out instead.
Hmm. Yeah, so it just you reminded me again. I'm saying that about the Romeca Meeks case. That I just think that's unfortunate when men involve two different women like that, and he knew he was wrong. Um, that doesn't justify the actions of LaTosha Daniels. But why would you have this lady walk your wife out there, who knew nothing of the situation? What did you expect to happen? You know, um, that lady drove how many hours she drove from Arkansas to them?
Maybe two, at least two, but it was maybe three. But
Mm,
I think that when she met him at that cigar bar, I think that they discussed something else. And I think that she couldn't do it because then she would have changed places with the wife,
mm,
if you feel what I'm saying, based
mm.
off all the other conversations all the other like weird things he wanted her to participate in. I think that, but to rid them both, because more than likely he probably had somebody else. You take care of my wife, but then you gonna go to prison because
Mm.
he gave her the address and he wasn't even there yet, and he
Wow.
took his time getting there. And I
So you
think when he got
explain.
there, he realized that she was still living. Like she hadn't hurt the wife. She hadn't hurt his wife at all. So he was a bit surprised.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't his first rodeo. This was not the first time he had dilly and dally with another woman. So yeah.
No.
It's unfortunate that he lost his life. And again, I mean, the judge had, not much mercy on, LaTosha Daniels either. She basically said, a broken heart does not justify you taking someone's life, basically,
It does
and I have
not.
to agree. I have to agree. We've all probably been in a situation where, you've had a broken heart before. And I think you told me she was still married. Maybe they were estranged, maybe they were intending to get divorced, but come on, lady.
And you know what? She was still married because I can remember in her sentencing, they asked her who was there for her. And she said her son, her husband. I mean, she had a lot of people there, but she definitely said her husband.
And I said, her husband.
Oh, okay. But he was there at her sentencing.
Well, she got
The
20
same
One
years
who
one,
she
to
said
think
treated
about
her
it.
bad.
the same husband who she said didn't treat her right, and that's why she was.
She was contemplating divorce. That was her, I think that was her third marriage.
Mm,
So I really think that this could have maybe started in a way. She said it started in one way, but to me, it sounds intentional.
yeah. I'm upset for her children. I mean, honestly, she had children, at least one child that I know of. You can't be out here making life decisions that's going to affect your children and send you away for 20 long years, and you don't consider the people that need you the most behind somebody else's man. I'm just going to put it, bluntly, behind someone else's man. That's horrible.
Right. And then if we circle back to Romeca Weed's case, I heard the boyfriend say on a live, so these are words from his mouth, that he was just focused on getting his kids. So now he's trying to get both of the kids from the prospective grandparents.
Mm, wow.
I
Another
don't think
young,
that's gonna happen.
really. I don't know. I see a lot of people asking why isn't he charged? Um, so that charges may come for him. I don't know. I have to definitely look more into the case, but we'll see. We've been on here quite a while. I promised the people we wasn't gonna keep them a long time. I appreciate you joining me, Mel. But before we leave, just this last case that has been, going on for the past 5, 6 weeks, we gotta hit on the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping. This gotta be one that we gotta touch on because it's national. I'm gonna say this and I'll give you a few minutes to speak your piece on it. I saw that local authorities are saying they're scaling back. They no longer they think it's a cold case. They no longer think that they need um as many deputies out there looking for her. They don't think she's alive. And I'll just give you my piece on it before we end. I never much thought it was a kidnapping, um, due to her age and her health and her need medication. I always thought that she probably didn't make it past the first few days, maybe a week. I don't think kidnappers and abductors are so thoughtful that they're going to go and get her medication and make sure she lived unless they really wanted the money. I always thought that the whole kidnapping note and all that was a red herring. I always thought that she didn't survive, and that was just the way to throw authorities off. And I really don't think she's alive. And I think the fact that her daughter has now, Savannah has now come back to her news show. I think the family has kind of accepted that also. But this is again just my take. What do you think, Mel?
I think the right things happen.
And I think that, it was a time, there was a time to stop the search. Um,
They did.
Debunk a few stories about the pacemaker. Now, my mom had a pacemaker, and
Mm-hmm.
there's no kind of cell phone monitoring. And I can tell you something about a pacemaker
Pacemakers
just for that. Now, can a person pass on with a pacemaker? Yes, but guess what? That pacemaker still be beeping.
the pacemakers still be. So
Mm,
that's one thing. But
Because, there most of the people that are reporting on this story
are taking.
Looks at the family and things of that nature. My thoughts on it is that I don't know. It's sad when somebody goes away. We did a lot more with kids that are your woman that didn't walk off due to dementia or anything, and you just kind of wonder, like, wow, you know. On top of they say that the ransom notes just automatically stop coming. They just stop coming.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they never, even the ransom notes that were coming, they never, gave the family any kind of proof of life. No picture, no voice recording, nothing. So, yeah, I think that it's unfortunate, And but I did see them do a memorial the other day, and I
Oh.
think they were putting flowers somewhere. Maybe they were putting the flowers out in her front yard. I'm not sure, but it was like they were doing a little memorial service. And if you ask me, basically they were saying goodbye.
Mm. Yeah, I think they've accepted that she's gone. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, because it's been since January. What, January 30th or 31st?
yeah. It's been quite a while. So, well, I appreciate you, Mel. I appreciate you getting up this morning, or me getting up because I'm not a morning person.
Yeah, let's make that you getting up. Because
Me getting up.
I'm a 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
person. That's what time I get up. Plus, I do have other things that I'm doing as well. So yeah. But anyway, those are my hot takes for the week. And I look
Thank you.
forward to connecting with you again.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Mel, and I appreciate anyone who joined us or who are going to catch us on a replay. And we will see you next week. Thank you.
All right.
Have
Later.
a